Good morning. A quick little shot of rain already this morning. Didn't get much, but we're up to 2/10 total from yesterday and today. So I don't know if we'll be able to do anything today or not. There's a lot more rain in the area. Might be a day or two. Well, I had somebody come and get some beans this morning. The guys working on my building needed some of that sheathing moved so they could start doing that. We'll help them with that. I have preschool graduation to go to this morning, which we're not even graduating from preschool. We have to go to preschool again next year because we're not old enough to go to kindergarten. So I'm not sure why we're graduating, but I'll go anyway. Well, preschool graduation is done. I have come over to these new farms where we picked up here that Phil's been planting, or was last week, or over the weekend mostly. This is where our 8R broke down. Let's talk about this tractor. So last fall, when I was spreading fertilizer with this tractor, we noticed a small oil leak on the front end here. Well, actually, let's start back a little bit before that. So if you go back 3 or 4 years ago, we were having some trouble with the steering cylinder on this tractor leaking. And we took it up to our John Deere dealer, and they didn't have the parts, couldn't get the parts. This was kind of back during the COVID parts shortage days. And so they adjusted the steering stops, and it changed where the seals rub on the cylinders, and it did help it for the next year, but then they got the parts the following winter. This would have been three and a half years ago now. And so we took it up there, they put a new steering barrel in, seals on the cylinder, all that stuff. Great. Fast forward to last year, gotta have the glasses. After 2 years of having that in there, it was leaking again. And so it wasn't leaking bad, but it was leaking to the point where you could see it. And then we started having this other oil leak up underneath. Let me try and show you as best I can. So up here underneath the front axle, under this shield, there's a valve block right there. I'm pretty sure it's an aluminum, maybe it's not aluminum, maybe it's a steel valve block with some solenoids and stuff in it that is for the ILS, the front suspension, from what I understand. Maybe something to do with the steering, but I don't think so. Well, it was leaking last fall, it was dripping a little bit. And so between that and the steering cylinder dripping, after we had just had that fixed, I said, well, I'm gonna take it up to the dealer and have them look at it and fix it. So they did. They had it up there for several weeks, a month and a half, 2 months, whatever it was. And they told me that they had fixed it, but they had to take it apart 3 times. And, well, they charged me for all 3 times in the labor. And, yeah, I'm not very happy with what our bill was for that. Come this spring, and all of a sudden, well, they didn't fix the steering cylinder. That's been leaking all spring. Like, that's what we took it up there for. Didn't fix it at all. And then Phil got over here, and all of a sudden we've got oil all over the inside of our duals. The ILS on the front suspension just collapsed, and we have a catastrophic oil leak. There's oil all over the side of the hood, the side of the frame, the grill. It's coming out of there. That's exactly what we had them working on this winter. So we have less than 80 hours on this tractor. I was just looking at the numbers. Since it has been at our dealer to fix the 2 things that are currently leaking. That's pretty frustrating for me. Now, I have not called the dealer. I know that I've made some comments about this over the last couple of days, and I am pretty hot and upset about it because, like, I took this up there to fix it, and I thought they billed me way too much to fix 2 oil leaks when they did it. And the fact that they didn't even fix either one of them makes me very mad. Now, before I absolutely light them up on the internet, they do get a chance to make it right and fix it. And I have not called them because when it happened, we were just like, okay, what do we got to do? Get the 8430. It was a Saturday afternoon. Like, nothing was going to happen right away anyway. And so we had the ability to keep stuff moving, and just, it slowed us down, but it was okay. It's not that end of the world. We're going to get done anyway, planting. It's okay. And I did not have the mental capacity to deal with this over the weekend and yesterday and when we were trying to get everything. So now that we've got a little rain and it's slowed down, I've got to make this phone call. They get a shot. They get a shot to make it right. But boy, if they tell me tough luck and you got to pay us to fix it again and, like, don't do anything for us, we might be finding a new dealer. I don't know. We'll figure that out when we make this phone call. So, yeah, I'm not real happy about this. But this is a far worse oil leak than it was when I took it up there. I drove it to them to fix it over the winter. I would not drive this tractor right now based on how much oil is on everything. I mean, I don't know if it shows up, but everything is coated in oil here. So, and there's oil dripping off of it right now. Somewhere in there in that valve block or something is leaking really bad. And that's unacceptable. And you know, I get it, like, yeah, okay, things happen, but they didn't even fix that. And that looks worse than it was too. Like, that was all cleaned up over the winter. We had all of that oil and everything off of there, all the dirt. Those were the two things that I asked them to fix. Neither one got done. I know the tech up there that worked on this, and he is one of my favorites. Like, if I had to pick somebody to work on our equipment, that's the guy that I would choose. He's really good. So I don't know what happened here. I'm frustrated. This is the barn where we kind of stored some more of our equipment and stuff here. Dad brought a bean head over at one point. I need to get this boat out. We're going to sell that boat, so it's got to get out of here so we can have it where I can do something with it. But the rest of this stuff we're not going to need for a while. Obviously, the grain cart and the bean head we'll need for wheat harvest. I'm debating whether we bring some planters over here and put them away when we're done. It would tuck right in that corner pretty well. At least the bean planter would. So, we'll see. Anyway, we'll see how this tractor, what happens with it. I love the tractor. We bought that tractor new, 2012. It's got 5,051 hours or something like that. 51, 52, whatever the number was. We've put every one of them on it. We've owned it since brand new. It's smooth. It's just been a really good, nice tractor. But it does make me nervous, and I have voiced this concern over the past couple of years that we have two, now really three of our main tractors that we rely on heavily in the spring that are getting what I consider to have higher hours. I know 5,000 hours is not a huge amount, and that there are tractors out there with 10, 15, even 20,000 hours and they run just fine. Great. We don't have a lot of extra tractors, and so we need stuff to be reliable and to work. And when you have three of them, this one, 5,200, the 8430's got over 6,000 hours, and the 9R is approaching 5,000. It's in the high fours. I don't know what exactly. It makes me nervous. And so while a sprayer and a bean planter have been at the top of my upgrade list, this little incident may change the order of what we do things. We may be tractor shopping here real shortly. I don't know. But obviously it has to be running and fixed before we can do anything with it. So we're going to make a phone call. And we'll see what happens. And I'm going to give them a chance to stand behind it and, you know, fix things. Actually, while I'm talking to you guys about this, what's reasonable? Am I being reasonable here, or am I not being reasonable? Should I expect the dealer to fix things and not have to take it apart 3 times and charge me the labor to do so? Like, I've sort of said the numbers in the past. I'm debating whether or not to do that in this video. Is it reasonable for me to, after 80 hours and both things that I had fixed being failures and one of them much worse than what it was, is it reasonable for me to expect them to stand behind that fix? Or should I expect to pay them double what I already have to fix it again? Or more for more parts that we just start throwing at it instead of fixing what's on? I don't know. I feel like I'm not being unreasonable, but you guys, some of you will have different views and can see things different than I can maybe. So tell me what you think. I'm totally open to the fact that, you know, maybe I'm wrong here, but boy, it sure feels like I'm getting taken advantage of a little bit. All right, well, we're back at the farm here. I made a phone call. They didn't answer. We'll see what happens from there. We got all of our empty soybean boxes broken down here, so that is good. Well, I should say all. There's one there yet. That half box has some beans in it that were clean out from the last field. We're switching to an earlier hybrid variety, so we're not ready to, I'm not going to use those up, or they'll probably end up with double crops. So we have 2 boxes left, which will just about be perfect for the field that we're going to. We might up the rate just a touch. So that's good. And we got all the corn boxes broken down. I think Dad and Phil just went down to go look at the fields where we're trying to finish disking and see if we can get the rest of this corn planted. So that'd be awesome. It is way too windy to spray, which is what needs to be happening today. But that's okay, maybe tomorrow. What else? Dad's getting ready to go to Berkey to spray the crops down there, the pre-emerge. And we're not going to be able to take our inductor and our Venturi with the valves for sucking chemical totes and stuff down there. So we've got to have some chemical meters, pumps, stuff ready to go. Dad's got 3 of them, he said. Yeah, right here. We got one there and one there, and I thought there was another one, he said. But anyway, they all have good meters and everything works. Oh, right here. So that's good. And we'll be ready to go as soon as things dry out, or the wind dies down, and we can actually get something done. While I'm looking for things to film today, Dad had gone down to the new farms that we picked up. And when he was looking to see if it was dry enough, and he pulled some roots because he was curious about something. So the previous tenant and farmer that farmed those fields, he runs a high-speed disc. I've never really seen them do very much heavy tillage. They run a high-speed disc over stuff sometimes in the fall. A lot of times they'll just hit it in the spring. I don't know if they do it once or twice, but they're using these Degelman style. I don't know what brand they use. You know, the short, compact, high-speed discs. And while we've never run one of those, I've always kind of voiced my concerns that they're not really that great of a tool. They leave a really nice, smooth seed bed, but I think they're causing some compaction. They don't leave it smooth underneath the surface. And so we picked up these farms. Well, they had standing corn stalks from last year, and so Dad was curious. So he pulled these corn stalks up and brought them back and soaked them in a pail of water so that we could look at the root structure a little bit. Here they are. Here is what we have found. And granted, that was sitting there. But what we notice when we look at these cleaned off roots from those fields is that a lot of the roots get to a spot and then they turn and they grow sideways. Or they don't, there's not a lot that's penetrating deep, right? Like even here there's a defining, almost a layer where these roots can no longer penetrate through the ground and they kind of grow horizontally out and you're not getting a nice deep root system. To contrast that, he pulled some of our corn stalks that we left standing over the winter, and these are still sort of soaking. But look how much deeper and down and bigger roots that go deeper into the soil profile that we have with these. Now, granted, they've been decaying over the winter, and this probably isn't a great representative sample, but it was just kind of interesting to me to see if we could see any differences in tillage systems there. Yeah, you can. You can see where, you know, their roots didn't penetrate and ours did a little bit more. And I attribute that to the tillage, the fact that we're running the disc ripper in the fall, loosening up the soil deeper into the soil profile, and then we're hitting it with a field cultivator instead of a disc in the spring, and that leaves a much, it doesn't compact the soil underneath where it runs like a disc can. So, I don't know, but that's why we run the equipment that we run. Let's do a little crop scouting. So this is not the first planted field of corn, but it was the first planted close to the farm here. Would have been the 3rd day of planting. Is that right? I believe the 3rd day of planting, 3rd or 4th. Yeah, all right. We'll get a little closer here. Look at what I see. Right there. Right there, right there, right there, right there, and there, and there. Sweet. Is there one in the middle here? I don't see one. Could have been. Corn's coming up. What a deal, what a deal, what a deal. Let's dig one up and see. Look at it a little closer. We can do our first corn agronomy lesson of the year. So we want to see as even if emergence is possible, right? We want all of our plants to come up at the same time, be at the same growth stage for the entire year. That keeps them from competing with each other and being weeds where one of them is never going to catch up to the rest of them. So the fact that we had, several plants in a row that are all just coming right close together, that's awesome. It also means that our plot field over here, which was planted, it was on a Monday. We would have been in here on a Saturday, I'm pretty sure. So it was 2 days later, so it's probably not spiking through yet, but we need to start checking it every day, doing our emergence flagging trial. So we'll go out there later tonight and do that. And we'll put a flag by every plant that emerged during that day. We'll check it every day until we get all the plants emerged. So yeah, that's good. But let's dig up a corn seedling and talk about it a little bit. Well, this row I'm sitting by, it doesn't have quite as even of emergence as what we had seen in the last one. We've got, I see one there, here, got a little weed, a thistle. Our herbicides will take care of that. And then it looks like we've got a skip, which isn't a skip, it's just not emerged yet. One here, and then we've got a little ways where we got nothing. And then we got one here, and then sort of the same thing. So there should be a seed about right in here. Right there he is. He's real close. Should be another one about right here. Sometimes you break them off if you're too rough. That's why I like to go on the sides. You'll see that one. There's one. Should be one in the middle here, I would think. Maybe we had a planter skip. I don't know. Nice loose dirt though, and really no sidewall compaction to speak of, which is good. Oh, right there. Okay, we got one. He's kind of growing sideways, so I don't know if he was going to make it or not. Certainly not going to emerge at the same time, but the planter did its job. All right, let's take this one right here. So we got this one that was just about to break through the surface, but has not yet. I'm going to try and dig him out whole. Okay. All right. So this one was planted tip up. One of the equipment companies has decided that we need to plant all of our corn tip down so that they can emerge even. Maybe that's why this one was a little bit slower and wasn't quite out of the ground compared to that one. We should dig that one next to it up and see if it was tipped down. But this one was clearly tip up because the radical root, this root, came out of the tip. Is that right? Nope. Maybe. Yeah, that one's got to be the radical root. And it was growing up, and so it's like, whoa, wait a minute, wrong way. And it did a U-turn, and now is growing down. And you can see we got this big, long root hair already, or root going down. And then we have, I think these are the seminal roots over here coming off of this. And we have our shoot that came down, and it's like, nope, wrong way, U-turn, back towards the surface. This is what we call a coleoptile. And it's the shoot of the plant that goes up, and essentially it's what pushes its way through the surface here, through the soil, and it's going to burst or break open and then allow the leaves to come out like we see over here. If you look at the bottom of this one, you can see that coleoptile, the sheathing around it that has now burst open and allowed the leaves to come through, and now that will start to unfurl and start capturing some sunlight. So we have our seed here. The seed has a lot of starch in it. That's the energy reserves for the plant. This plant will live off of that seed and continue drawing from that seed up until about the V5 growth stage, which is for quite a while. Now it will also start bringing nutrients and water from the soil and using sunlight to conduct photosynthesis, making sugars and carbohydrates in its transition away from the seed. So anyway, this one looks pretty good. I am super curious about the one next to it here. Let's see if we can get it out of the ground and tell which way that seed was facing, because maybe there's a little bit to this whole seed down, tip down thing. I broke a root off, but we should have the seed. Yeah, absolutely. Look at that. That one was tipped down. Fascinating. I hate giving them any credence because I think their products are overkill, but there is something to that. There is definitely something to that one. Interesting. So you can see, and I'm not saying it was all because of seed orientation here, but you can see that there was clearly a growth difference between tip up and tip down. Is that going to translate to yield? I have no idea, but it certainly translated to emergence. But you can see the same thing here. So we've got our radical root coming down. We've got some seminal roots coming off here. I mean, we've got our shoot with that coleoptile, then transitioning into the leaf. This is VE corn, V Emergence. We do not have a fully developed leaf collar, so it's not to V1 growth stage yet, but cool. Wasn't really expecting to find that whole kernel orientation thing there, but there it is. So tomorrow you'll be able to row this corn, I bet. Heat is making a huge difference. Things are changing rapidly with this heat. Now it is going to cool down, but yeah, we're accumulating heat units and the corn is off to a really good start. I should find some of the early planted bean fields. We should go look at that. But I have a seed customer at my barn. I think they're actually bringing some back this time, not taking more, but we'll go deal with that. It's okay. The 9R is moving. Let's go finish planting corn. What time is it? 2:15. I got baseball games tonight, so we got to be done by 5. We got 30 acres to plant. We'll be done easy. So we're gonna go back down to the field where we left the planter last night. We gotta get that pump started and unhook our tank where it sits, and then we'll go plant that 30 acres, and we'll be done planting corn. Mostly. Well, I gave her 3 pulls today after a shot of ether, and it didn't fire, and my rope broke. We're just gonna pull the tank. Forget it. We'll just pull the tank. I'll figure it out. I don't get passed by farm equipment very often, but the guy in the spreader just came flying by me, which, you know, yeah, he's going way faster than I am. However, it's about a 30-mile-an-hour wind outside today. What are we driving a spreader truck for? Okay, well, we're planting here. This is gonna work. It'll plant just fine. It's not super smooth, but the rain actually mellowed it out, melted some of the clods down yesterday. It'll be fine for the 30 acres we've got. Super awkward shaped fields here at this point, and triangles and house lot, and oh yeah, whatever, it is what it is. We'll get it done. So Dad got that little field and the one up there on the corner, or on the end, worked down, so we'll plant it. I do have an autopath boundary for this, or lines, so we're using them. I remember trying to map this field last summer. It was a wheat field, and we kept losing signal along the trees and stuff there, but we got a line. We'll see if it's any good. My tillage guy missed a spot here. Didn't do these ends. I will. Not coming back now. All right, we are getting a low seed warning on both seed tanks, which makes me nervous because I've only planted 10 of the 30 acres, and I have 6 bags of seed, and I don't know if that's enough to do 20 acres. So we gotta go look and see here. Hopefully we're gonna have enough, but we're gonna be tighter than I thought. I was hoping there was gonna be a couple bags we weren't gonna use, and that does not appear to be the case. We should probably fish these bags out of our seed tanks anyway. See if they already spilled, the ones that were open. Nope, they're good. Okay, we got a little seed in there, yeah. But we're gonna need pretty much everything we've got, I think. We're up to 24 of 30 acres, and I got 2 rows running out of seed. But I got those 2 bags of mixed seed yet, so we're gonna be okay. Oh yeah. This one's a little more empty, but we got these 2 bags. We're gonna make it. Last pass of the big field here. Right there. Now we get to go do this one. Oop, seed bin 1 almost empty. It's all right. We only have about less than 3 acres to go, so we should make it. Big planters and little fields. I'm not sure we're going to be able to turn around in here. This is why I would normally unhook the tank, because we need to pull into there and then back up to be able to make this turn, and it's going to be real tricky with this tank hooked up. We might do some things I'm not going to be real proud of, but it's all right. We'll get it. I don't have a great place to put you guys to watch to see if I make it out of this corner, but it might be entertaining. Let's see how I do. Might be going through the ditch to the road. Alright. Please back up straight. Sometimes that tank I can back it up a long ways. Sometimes it turns immediately. Like this time. Dang it. Alright, let's straighten her back out and try again. Nope. Okay. This is gonna get hairy. I'm watching my camera. I love watching that camera that I have on the back of the planter. Shows me the tongue of the tank. So I can kind of watch to see if the tank is backing up straight or not. It's not. Alright. We gotta do this. Very slowly. Very, very, very slowly. Let's lift up the tongue on the planter. Don't break anything. Don't break anything. Don't break anything. Okay. Flex it. All the way over the road. Oh gosh, we're going through this ditch. This is not going to be pretty. This is why we try and drop the tank. Alright. Oh, row units on the ground. Okay. Square it up. We made it. It wasn't great, but we made it. Now let's see if we can back up a little bit. Oh, now it's going to back up straight. Of course it is. And there. Good enough. Try to pass along the road. We're going to have about 6 rows to fill in. Good enough. Big planters and little fields problems. This is our smallest field. It is an 1.25 acres here. What happened to it? Where did my map go? Whatever. I don't need it. It's right here. Okay, don't get in that corner again. Alright, now we do this one. This one's like an 1.5 acres or a touch more, 1.6 maybe. And it's triangular shaped, but it's a right triangle. We've got a square corner here, and it's a little easier to make the turns and get in and out of this one, so not as bad. Alright, well, we did it again. We got ourselves in a corner here. Let's see if we can back out of this one. We'll watch our tank. And there it been. Okay. Oh boy. Can't bail through that ditch. Now, I'm gonna have to put you down. That tank is very close to our row units. Those row units are very close to a ditch. But we made that circle. Oh boy, I don't like that. How long do you think it would take to plant these 2 fields with a 2-row corn planter? I don't have any fertilizer on it. But it would have been easier than this. I wonder. Oh well. Let's see. Okay. Do another pass along the ditch. Yeah, we'll be able to get out of there, okay. We need 2 more passes here, if I can get squared up. Drop the planter, come on. Alright, we're good now. Little itty bitty wedge. Planter in the ground. Seed bin 1 is empty. Seed bin 2 is empty. Uh-oh. Oh no, we'll rate on the fertilizer. Done! Done. Now, some of you may know that technically we still have some corn or some ground that's supposed to go to corn. But it's 15 acres. It's the little triangle field that we have where we were yesterday, and there's still a bunch of water on it. So it isn't going to get planted anytime soon. I don't know that it's actually going to get planted to corn. I'm still going to try that. But as of now, we're done planting corn. Whew, that feels good. Oh, and look at that. Those are raindrops on the windshield. I noticed there was some clouds that looked like it might rain on us, so just in time. All right, we're just gonna park the planter out of the way here. I need to get that pump fixed. We're gonna pump all the fertilizer that is in that tank, maybe 100 gallons left, onto the planter, because if we do get to plant that last 15 acres, well, we got the fertilizer there, and we ain't taking that tank with us. There's no reason to. No, there's not even that. There's maybe 50 gallons in there. So we're done with that tank. We got to get it empty, and then we can clean it up and get it put away. So yeah, that's the first piece of spring equipment that we're done with and can put away. But I'm gonna see if somebody's here to take me to get my truck, and then we got to go to baseball tonight. It's gonna be a windy one for baseball. Well, we're back from the baseball game. I went to my younger son's game today. He's playing 8U, and was the home game, so we're back a little sooner. My other son is actually still playing, but they were away in a 45-minute drive the other direction, so we're just home. But we needed to come out here. I told you earlier we needed to check for our emergence flagging trial. I didn't think we would have anything up. I was wrong. So we're going to need to get some flags here. But first thing we got to do is measure out 17 feet 5 inches, because that is 1/1000th of an acre. So we're going to flag that out, 1/1000th of an acre in 30-inch rows, 17 feet 5 inches in one row. And so we're going to put a couple of stakes, mark our plot out, and then we're going to go get some flags, and we're going to mark every day one emerger in that strip. All right, so there is our 17 feet 5 inches. And if we look close here, I think these are all just come up today. It's been warm, but we got a plant there. We got one there with some dirt stuck to him. So we need to go get some flags and flag this. I'm just sort of surprised. I guess I shouldn't be, but this was planted 2 days after the stuff we looked at earlier today. But it was cold then, so none of that stuff was really growing. So since it's warmed up, everything's growing together. It's all going to be very, very similar growth stage, which is... it's not a terrible thing, but sometimes spreading your risk out and having things in different stages is not a bad thing either. So I'll go get my flags. I've got them up here. All right, we've got our day one flags here. This is leftover remnants of a kit from last year. So we're going to go down here with a microscope and look for any plant that is visible and stick a flag in next to it. And we're going to just assume that anything that is visible came up today, because I may be a day late on this. Close enough. There's going to be a bunch. Okay, there we're missing one. And we don't move any dirt. We're not going to disturb any soil looking for them. So if we can't see them, then they don't count. Let's see how many we get. So big and chubby, that rock you found? Good job, sis. That was a lot. We found a lot. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. And I could make the argument... Is it here? Nope. Where was it? Right here. I could make the argument that I gotta find out where my... See it? Do you see it right there? Right in the center of the screen. There is a little bit. I could make the argument that that's an emerged plant. But I am out of green flags. I'm reusing a kit from last year that we didn't apparently have very many day oneers, because I had a bunch of flags left. So I could go find some more. I do have some more, but there's that's the only one that's iffy. We're going to forget that one and call it behind enough that it's a day two emerger. And yeah, we'll come back tomorrow and we'll see how many more we've got. We've got some blue flags that will go in. But to get 20, what did I say, 22, 23? I think we dropped 33,000 in here, so we're gonna be a pretty darn good stand. Got a gap here, a gap here, just one in the middle, and then there's a couple of skips down there, but we had a lot of really good emergence there, so pretty happy with that. Now can you what? I didn't tell you you had to stand right there. I just wanted you to stay over here on this side. I'm sorry. Yes, you can move. Just don't step on my cornrows. Oh, okay. Cool. Thanks for watching this one. Things slow down a little bit temporarily here until we get into side dressing corn. We're going to need a few more days. Probably, I'm going to guess 2 weeks before we start side dressing. We got to get this corn up so you can row it and drive through it without running over rows and covering up the little plants. So we'll give it a couple weeks. It is going to cool down. That's going to make the corn grow a lot slower. So we'll see. But we need to get our lawn mowed tomorrow. I think I'm going to help the guys on the construction. They want to get trusses up tomorrow and might need some help. So I will probably be around doing some of that stuff. And we'll see what else we can find to do. But thanks for watching this one. I never did hear back from my dealer, so we'll see what we find out about that tomorrow. But ready? 1, 2, 3, jump! Whoa! You made it. See you guys. Have a great night.